We getting seed money. We need seed money. That's that seed money. We need that.
Introduction. These books are...
Introduction? Yeah, but introduction to what? What is this? You just introductioning up to people. All right, so this is the first book of the Generational Health series, right? This is the first book. It's called what? What's the title of this book?
Atoms of Self-Development.
Atoms of Self-Development. Atoms of Self-Development. Come on, you can't be shy. You gotta say it like you when. Okay, look, just think that nobody's looking. Just come on, just say it out loud, lady. All right, so now we ready for you to bust out the introduction. Now we know what you introducing us to. Now you can,
Introduction. These books are to be read as a family to create this.
Don't rush, hold up. You gotta slow it down. Relax. Come on, look. Yep, in your nose, out your mouth. Come on. Come on, lady. All right, now that you're relaxed, everybody, you got your vibe.
These books are to be read as a family to create discussions, group learning, group sharing. This is how we build generational health, learning and teaching as a family. Chemistry.
Hold up. You can't listen. You can't just fly through it, okay? It's going to be a lot of people in the YouTube world, like 100 people. They all going to be watching, right? You can't just go fast. You got to relax. So do you want to say peace or anything to the people out there? Tell them to go get the books.
Go get my dad's books. They're pretty good.
And we are...
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe, they've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
All right, and real quick, I sent you a graphic the other day. Hold on, let me turn this down. I sent you a graphic the other day that I want to share with the folks, because this right here is what we on. And I don't know if they can see that or not, but Ali's at the bottom right there, on the bottom right on that bill with Trump,
hold up.
Vance, and everybody else.
From Byron Donalds?
That post from Byron Donald.
Okay, give me 1 second and I will have that up.
So I say that, he kind of threw me off of what we was talking about, but so my point is that 8, 9, 10 years ago, we knew where we were going, but we knew you got to lay the track before you go somewhere. And that was the point, that we was at. We was at the point of trying to figure out, what kind of street we want to run on. Do we want gravel? Do we want, what's the black top? Do we want to do asphalt? We was trying to figure out what kind of path we were going to lay down. So as we laid that path down, you were, gracious enough to be on that journey with us, and we were learning at the same time, so it wasn't even me teaching anybody anything. It was just all of us learning at the same time, and being willing to make mental adjustments and emotional adjustments to things. So yeah, that's what that is, and that's Ali on the bottom right there. It really don't get no bigger than that.
That is a certified fact right there.
Yeah.
Yep. NC 12th district.
Yeah, it's a thing. That's what we on. And the thing is, like, the reality of it is, what you gonna tell some of these brothers that's on that flyer? They from the hood. They like, yo, they been around. They not, everybody's not Ivy League. Everybody don't come from that. You know what I mean? And that's what our main thing was, Inky, was to show that you could come from hip hop culture. You could come from, basically nothing and be at the White House. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can do that. And that's been our thing. So, heck of a journey, man. Heck of a journey.
That's a journey and a half. And just looking at that flyer, if you will, like, that's all brothers right there. That's crazy. That the conversation, and the funny thing is I guess, well, I'm gonna save it because the racial politics and all of the stunts and the shenanigans and the goofballery that's going on with the Democrats and the quote unquote agents in the community that are subversively working for the Democrats, like,
and don't even know it and don't even realize they're doing it.
And some of them know, like we had a conversation with Mark Lamont Hill the other day, and it was crazy. So we're gonna unpack that in a second.
Sure.
Man, we just got so much, I guess we can't even cover everything that's happened, but I guess we start with the debate.
Trump-Biden debate.
We it's one thing for us to kind of surf the web and news hop. We see what CNN is saying and NBC, and then jump over to Fox and compare notes and surf the different personalities on the internet that we associate with, and we try to put our news together that way, right? But then there's a whole nother perspective, and sometimes the perspectives may line up, but sometimes it may be drastically different from being on the inside. And you guys have went from being on the outside to being on the inside. So what was the conversation like circulating on the inside of the Republican Party, top to bottom, for that debate, post that debate? Like, how did that?
Okay, well, before we get to that, we have to talk about what has been being said for well over 2 years now. And keep in mind that 85% of the media, and this you have to keep this in the front of your head when you're trying to get news and information, that 85% of the media, if not 90% of the media, is controlled by one party, and that is the Democrat Party. So leading into the debate, there has been conversations about Joe Biden's cognitive ability. I don't think any of us, and especially those within the health community, could observe Joe Biden and say that he's cognitively functioning properly, right? There's no way you could have looked at his speech patterns, his walking patterns, falling up and down the steps, and certain other things. So going into that debate on the right and in Republican circles and publicly, on the floor of the Senate, on the floor of the House of Representatives, his cognitive abilities have been questioned going into that debate. And any of us in the know knew, like, this guy's not up to the job. He wasn't up to the job from day one. And it's gotten progressively worse, was the sentiment going into the debate. Going into the debate, most of us whose opinion don't make it to mainstream media were like, yo, this is elder abuse. And I'm
let me stop you right here because you in a line of fact, and I just want to just add some opportunistic conjecture,
Sure.
right? We know about Hunter Biden's illicit drug use, right? We know about the cover-ups and blah blah blah. Is there any chatter, any chatter floating around, any rumors floating around where Biden was also on the hard drugs? And the only reason I'm asking that is because I was having a conversation the other day, and I don't know how it came up, but once it was out there, it just couldn't be taken back. It was one of those things where it was like, I never, And I had to really think to myself, a lot of Ozzy Osbourne's behavior lines up with what we've seen from Trump. And then I had to think of it from my professional standpoint with
Trump or Biden?
Biden, excuse me, Biden. Drugs eat away at your brain and your cognitive function in a certain way that it looks very reminiscent of what we see from Biden. Now, if there was no other pretext, obviously Alzheimer, dementia, it's getting old.
That would be the estimation. And again, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being objective. I've never heard of Joe Biden using cocaine or any drugs, but I could also say the apple don't fall far from the tree when we talk about Hunter Biden. So I could see where that connection would be assumed, but I've never heard that. I've never heard that in my, now could it be the case? I'm sure, but what I have heard and from the tricklings out from certain folks is that it's been well established that he's had a cognitive decline. It's been established that the doctors that they brought in, the White House doctors, were told to keep quiet about his cognitive ability. But no, I've never heard that. But again, the apple usually never falls far from the tree. So good conjecture. I mean, great piece of conjecture, if you ask me.
Listen, I never thought about it, but when the conversation came up because MTV recently went through something where they deleted a lot of footage. I don't know if you heard about this. MTV, they kind of wiped a lot of the old content, a lot of historical rap content, and so in that space of that discussion, it was like, yeah, well, Ozzy Osbourne, looking like Joe Biden out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I know
now that I would bet that that's Alzheimer's. If I was a betting man, I'd put my money on Alzheimer's, aging. But the point being is that going into the debate, we all knew that was not a good idea for Joe Biden. I mean, if you care to do any Googling or any research for yourself, and you go pay attention to what we'll call some of the talking heads on the conservative side, months before the debate, even 2 years prior to this, we already knew what was going to happen. We already knew that Joe Biden, let's not even deal with the cognitive decline. Let's just deal with the level of intelligence. Let's just deal with the fact that Trump is a genius compared to Joe Biden. If we were to IQ test these gentlemen, I'm pretty sure Trump would do better, having been someone who's worked in the private sector and built a business. Joe Biden's only business for the last 40 years has been in government. He's never built a business. He's never owned a business. He's never signed paychecks. He doesn't know what it's like to try and fail and then hit a home run and be down and up. He doesn't know that. All he knows is government paycheck. So we knew going into that debate that it would play out the way that it did. We just underestimated how bad that lashing was. We didn't know it was going to be.
Yeah, because that debate was so horrific that even the Democrats
Right. They lost their minds. They was like, nah, this can't be the guy. And that kind of leads into post the debate. There was no way, it's like watching your cousin play basketball against somebody and get destroyed, and then y'all gotta play a 5-on-5 after. He ain't ready for that game. You don't pick him to run point. He can't be the point guard. Ain't no way we giving Cuzzo the rock. And he just got destroyed by such and such on the court, 21 zip. Like, you can't let Cuzzo play point. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
he
love
gotta
you,
sit
but you're
on
gonna have to sit over there.
yeah, you're gonna have to sit this one out, bro.
Yeah,
You're gonna have to,
yeah.
or go, wait till you get your game up. So that's essentially, what led to
So
where
let me
we are
ask you
now.
this. Do you think, because the debate happened early July, somewhere around the 5th, the 6th, something around there, right? Trump, the attempted Trump assassination happens mid-July. In fact, it happened on Tony's birthday, right? But then maybe a week later from that, Biden kind of gets yanked or steps down, or however that works. And then all of a sudden we have this wave, this Kamala wave, and that becomes a whole, that's a whole mess we gotta unpack. But which one, and I guess for clarity, for the people that may not know, somewhere in between the debate and the Trump assassination attempt, Biden is on the phone, or he's doing a conference with some, I guess, private supporters or whatever the case may be. And he says, we need to put Trump in a bullseye.
That is a fact. He said that.
A few days later, Trump gets shot the assassination attempt happens. So my question to you is, and we may not be able to know, exactly, but just in your opinion, which one played a heavier role on him being yanked out of that driver's seat in terms of leading the Democratic Party? How bad he did in the debate, or the assassination attempt?
Neither. I think neither played a role. What I think is that this is, for lack of a better term in the moment, a coup. I think this was always the plan.